On August 27, 2022, the RubberDucks and Rumble Ponies faced off in an elimination game at Wifflepalooza. Loser goes home. During the season, a bitter social media rivalry was sparked, and no love was lost between the teams. This game would go scoreless into the 12th inning, setting up a dramatic at-bat that deserves a deep rewind. So how do we get here? The Rumble Ponies franchise was created last minute before the 2020 season. Due to another team dropping out last second, the Ponies were created the Sunday night before the season was about to begin. Their first season was okay. They had a 10-19 record, and they took their lumps. Batting averages were not great, 224 as a team, and nobody hit above 300, team ERA 6.31. However, once the Ponies got to Wifflepalooza, they were a different breed. In fact, they ran the table to make the playoffs in their first ever season. They were a team to watch out for, until the first round of the playoffs when they ran into the Baby Cakes and got swept. 2021 was a new year for the Ponies. They had a 22-15 record, and things were looking up. Batting averages skyrocketed. They had a team batting average of 331, and a couple people were even pushing 400. Team ERA down 2 whole runs to 4.24. They were going to take Wifflepalooza by storm again this year, locking up the 3 seed. Unfortunately for them, they ran into the Blue Sox and the Millers, who abruptly ended their season. The RubberDucks franchise was created in 2018, branded as the Rustlers, led by manager Stash, and consisted of the Wish, Daddy, and Face. In their first year, they had great success. Their factor field experience led the Rustlers to a wild card berth in their very first season with a 28-11 record. Unfortunately, they were swept in the first round by the Mets. In the 2019 season, once again, they were a wild card winner with a 26-12 record, but were swept by the Mets in the first round. After taking 2020 off, the 2021 RubberDucks earned a wild card bid with a 27-12 record, but you guessed it, were swept by the Mets. So how did a Rumble Pony team from Egan and a RubberDucks team from Hopkins develop such a bitter social media rivalry? In 2022, the Rumble Ponies decided to move on over to Hopkins and were placed in the RubberDucks division. On Stash and Sanchez's Touch 'Em All podcast, predictions were made.
Hopkins, Egan, anything. This has top to bottom. I mean, even with the addition of the Rumble Ponies, let's not leave them out of the conversation because those guys are getting better every year with experience. Yep. But really, it could come down to flip some coins between who it is. But I decided to go RubberDucks, Grasshoppers, Americans, and then Rumble Ponies.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think that this is the most, or the best division that there is because, I mean, if the Rumble Ponies figure it out, they could definitely be in the conversation as well for who could win this division. I think we are both in agreement that we think that they're going to finish 4th, but I think they're going to be competitive. I don't think that they're just going to roll over.
And perhaps a seed was planted. About 2 weeks after the Rumble Ponies swept the RubberDucks in a regular season series, the Rumble Ponies tweeted out advocating for why a couple of their players should have been voted into the All-Star game. The RubberDucks replied with, "Some errors being marked as hits could have been a deciding factor." The Rumble Ponies replied with, "And some foul balls being marked as home runs, huh? Hashtag Paperboy." Well, let's dive into this. On paper, this looks like a normal 6-4 game, but if we take a closer look, this is where all the controversy really started. You'll notice the RubberDucks, 0 errors. Let's also take a look at Paperboy's home run. At first glance, it looks pretty close. Paperboy is kind of torn. He decides to call it fair. Gives the RubberDucks a lead. Slow-mo replay. It's pretty close. This angle will never tell the full story. but it's close. I think the big issue that the Rumble Ponies had was the Paperboy celebration/devastation reaction. They said nobody reacts with their hands on their head after hitting a home run. The drama didn't stop there, though. A couple weeks later, the Rumble Ponies were in the middle of another online controversy. What looks like an innocent little ground out turned into something much bigger. As you can see, Nightmare fields the ball past the dud line, which is an out. Harmless, right? Well, not so much. You see, Stash had informed the Rumble Ponies that a ball that hits the singles line is not a single because it needs to go over the line according to Rule 507. However, if we look a little bit deeper into the rule, it clarifies that a ball that lands on the line is the same as a ball that lands past the line. Well, the Rumble Ponies didn't take kindly to this and took to Twitter. LOL at HRL Ducks. So y'all just make up rules when we play you? Anything you say about us keeping stats correctly is irrelevant if you intentionally tell us the wrong rules for your benefit. The Ducks captain Stash responded with a kind of tongue-in-cheek Nick Castellanos apology, but at the very end he clarified by saying, "That being said, if you're still butthurt I called you out on not marking errors, I don't apologize for that." Then the Ducks Twitter account tweeted out, well, all this beef could have been avoided if the Rumble Ponies would have remembered their DM to us back in 2020. The Rumble Ponies had DM'd them, "Hey guys, just curious, is it normal for other teams on the website to put hits for themselves when really they were errors in the field? Because the Vibes totally did that for our games last Thursday." At this point, the entire league wanted the RubberDucks and Rumble Ponies to face off in Wifflepalooza.
Not even close. I want to see Ponies, RubberDucks. Like,
That's
I want to see it.
Yeah.
That's
don't
what
care.
I thought you were gonna say.
Sure. That makes sense.
Not right, sir. I want to see my ponies. My ponies. I want to see
Your
them-
little ponies.
My little ponies. I want to see them beat the RubberDucks. And no offense, Stash. I love you guys. I love Old Yeller. He's my boy. But I'm Team Ponies.
When the Wifflepalooza bracket was released, it wasn't looking good for those wanting to see a RubberDucks Rumble Ponies matchup. The RubberDucks had the 4 seed, Rumble Ponies 2 seed. They were on opposite sides of the bracket. Some crazy things would have to happen in order for them to play each other. But the Wiffle gods were watching, and after the Mets knocked off the RubberDucks to send them to the losers bracket, the Rumble Ponies were waiting. And the only thing that could compare to the theatrics of the social media drama were the theatrics of the actual game itself. Runs would be tough to come by. In fact, a run would be tough to come by. With the wind blowing straight in from right field and the Egan grass, combined with some incredible defense by Sticks, both teams remained scoreless early on. If Sticks hadn't caught this ball would have been fair, and Sarge would have scored the eventual game-winning run. Both teams had a lot of scoring opportunities throughout the game, but neither team could muster up the clutch hit to scrounge across that coveted 1 run. Balls that would normally leave the rink on a normal night were getting swallowed up by the wind and fielders' hands. Then everything changed in the 12th inning. A leadoff walk to B squared, followed by Sticks grounding one to left, was booted by Sarge. 2 on, nobody out. B squared then dribbled one to right. Paperboy couldn't make the play, and the Rumble Ponies were on the board, and the wheels had just started falling off. Another ground ball to left, booted once again, and the Rumble Ponies were rumbling. But what would this video be without one more controversy? As you can see right here, the count should be 3-2. However, B squared and Old Yeller decide the count is 2-2. After a couple more foul balls, they still say it's 2-2. This would have been ball 5 and B squared would have reached first base. Instead, they said the count's full. And 9 pitches later, we're back to where we started, with B squared looking to put a dagger in the RubberDucks season. Welcome to a moment in HRL history.
They finally learned a lesson.